Hi guys, how are you all? Happy Monday. And guys, it is the 21st of December, which is the Jupiter Saturn conjunction, which is a new cycle, a new 250-year cycle. The last one was 800 years. And like I said in my previous videos, this is a new beginning, but an auspicious beginning too. Yeah, let's not go crazy, because it is still Uranus and it is Saturn. So, you know, if you look back on my previous videos, I have spoken about what Jupiter and Saturn, but Jupiter and Saturn mean for Aquarius. The second video, I'll be putting the links below, was the previous conjunction, what it meant, you know, when it was in 2000 in Taurus. I've also done cards for you guys as well, like card readings from the past, present and future. And now this is the finale, yeah, the third. So what I'll be talking about is what some of the things that we can look forward to, the good, the bad and the ugly. Yeah, I'll be doing it like astro wise. I'll also be talking about things that you can actually use to help yourself during this 20-year or 250-year or 2000-year conjunction. And should we go for it? Should we do it? Okay, let's do it. So, you know, as I said in my previous video, it's a new shift, a new 200-year cycle, and some of the things that we can look forward to astro-wise for the next 20 years or so and beyond. And oh, if you haven't seen my previous videos, like I keep saying before, please check them out. So with this conjunction, guys, I'm going to do it through the signs and through the houses. So I'll start with Aquarius, then I'll be going through Pisces and Aries. But it's not the signs, it's going to be through like the actual houses for Aquarius. So what we're going to look forward to, the first house is Aquarius. We're going to look forward to like looking at ourselves and envisioning ourselves in a different way. We're going to be communicating differently as well. We're going to be, you know, the first house is to do with like, you know, how we see our future and the body. So our mind's going to be expanded. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be forward thinking, but there's also going to be a stubbornness that comes with this as well, guys. You know, Aquarius is a fixed sign. It's also ruled by Saturn. So it's not an easy sign, because, you know, even how we present ourselves could be of a friendly person, especially with the first house being Aquarius. But, you know, we can come across as quite cold and aloof. And, you know, even we may even look, the energy of the first house with this conjunction could be quite judgmental as well. But it's not, but that's how it can appear. Also, even our thoughts on how things should be, like if we're in a group and organization, we can be wanting to be around different types of people as well. We could be very fixed in our opinions, like if we're having like discussions or anything, it could be like, no, this is how the way it should be. And even if you have an idea, even if we have ideas, or should I say, we could be very fixed in them, and especially if it's to do with like futuristic as well. So our minds may not be able to change now during this as well. Yeah, but even how we like view our bodies as well, it's going to be very different to how it was in Taurus. You know, we may be wanting to like look different, change up our look, you know, change up our hair. Like a lot of us have had that COVID weight gain. I've enjoyed eating, but you know, we're going to be looking at different ways and how we can like have more energy, have, you know, feel better. So that might be also to do with looking at unconventional ways to get fit, you know, looking at futuristic ways to get fit, even making up our own fitness and regimes and our own types of diets as well. But, you know, it's not going to be an obsessive way like 20 years ago. It's going to be more of a way that is going to sustain us for the decades to come. Yeah, we're not going to be over the top and searching for that type of body beautiful. It's going to be, okay, this is what's good for my body. This is what I'm going to try. And we also might try unconventional ways, and, you know, but I'll be going through all the houses. But, you know, in terms of how we view ourselves, we're very different. We're also going to be dressing different as well. You know, looking at, you know, what suits our body shape, not trying to be another, like squeezing into things that are not good for us. So that's the first house. The second house is like the income and how we, you know, our self-value. So this will be, you know, in terms of how we earn money. You know, I think a lot of you have heard about it's going to be like a basic income, because the second house is Pisces. So I can believe that can happen, because Pisces is not a sign that actually keeps money. It's all about giving money to people that are in need. So money will be distributed to, like, on a wealthy scale to people. And, you know, this money that will come will be, you know, so that you can, like, create, look at how your creativity is. Some of the money there could be some losses as well, only because if you're giving a lot away, you can lose some. But I don't think a lot of us will actually care, because 20 years ago it was all about, you know, doing different types of jobs just to keep money, saving money. But, you know, we'll be finding, like, spiritual, creative ways to earn money this time. And even if we lose money or we spend a lot of money, it won't be like, we won't be like going crazy, like we have to earn more. It'll be like, okay, money's gonna come, this is what I just have to do, you know. But on a worldly scale, yeah, I definitely think that it will be like a basic income. That will just come later on though. But I think in how we earn money, because second house is about earnings, it may be more on a creative space, and it will be more to do with, like, not killing ourselves to earn money. It'll be, you know, I'm gonna earn money like this. And, you know, some of us may have multiple jobs, you know, but the jobs that we'll be doing will definitely be creative and have some sort of creative spiritual theme to it. And, you know, we'll be, you know, it'll not blasé, but it'll just be more like, okay, I've paid all this, I've got this little bit left. We'll be able to live on it, you know, because we're going to move into the world of we can live on less. But there can be some also delusion that we think that, you know, money fall off trees. We still have to go out and work and earn our money, but some of us could be working for ourselves as well, you know. So, you know, just making sure that delusion of, oh, this is what's going to happen and I don't need to earn money to get my keep. And no, you still have to do things to earn money. You can't just rest at home in bed, you know. But yeah, but money will come. Money will come, but just be in a different way. The third house is Aries, so even how we, like, communicate, maybe a bit blunt. It might be quite be fiery in how we're trying to get our point across. And, you know, third house is about, you know, writing, speaking. So even, like, how we speak, it can be very straightforward, because we want to keep moving. We don't want to keep things stagnant. We don't want to keep thinking too much. We want to push forward with things. We want to initiate new things. We want action now. So we're going to want to be surrounding ourselves with people who are action orientated. And even how we're writing, even our minds are going to be sped up more. Yeah, but we have to be very careful that we don't overexert ourselves so we just burn out. So we just have to pace ourselves, but we are going to be moving more faster, you know. Even in terms of, like, communication, things are not going to be slow. It's going to be moving very fast. So we have to really, like I said, pace ourselves, but know that if we come up with an idea, we have to follow through with it. And a lot of us are going to follow through with things as well. And if some of you are writers, you could find yourself writing very quicker now. Ideas are going to come thick and fast. It's a great time to have, like, that pen or paper, you know, just in case these ideas come. But, you know, like I said before, just making sure there's no mental burnout. We don't want that at all. But we do want to follow through with what we want to do. So, you know, and we're going to want to be around people like that as well. And even if people appear like they're very, oh, you know, they may have quick ideas too. We're going to be so busy during these next couple of years and decades as well. So, you know, like I said, have that pen and paper, but take care of your mental health as well. Lots of deep breaths, especially if things are coming thick and fast too. Then we have the fourth house, which is Taurus. So this is like home, roots, you know, family. This is also to do with our mum. So a lot of us may be communicating more with our mum, want to be more closer to home as well. Even our homes can be more unconventional. We can decorate it very different, very futuristic. We will probably have more, some of us will probably have more meetings at home as well, because we're trying to build this like community. So it's people that we actually trust. We're going to be having them have like home parties, house parties as well. There's not going to be a lot of clubs going on. It's going to be like more home, entertaining more at the home, discussing things at the home as well. Even how we want to rediscover our roots, we're going to probably be delving deeper and committing more into where we came from. You know, you're going to see a lot more of this explosion of people wanting to know where they're from, and you know, following through as well. So we might even travel to a different country, or even speaking to people online about, you know what, you're my family, you know, am I? Yeah, you're my family. And you know, but we'll want to be more closer to people that we connect with as well. But there will be a lot of home entertainment happening, and you know, even if you think your home's going to stay like this, it's going to look very different now. It'll be a gradual process. It might take a bit of time because it's Taurus in the 4th, but eventually it'll be like, okay, let's just switch things up, let's try and do things differently. Also, I'm seeing a lot of us like connecting more with like older people, like our parents, you know, connecting more about where we actually came from as well, and also finding like ways to like relax in the home. 4th house is also about self-care, so there might be different ways that we're going to have to relax. So instead of like having that bath, we're going to probably have like music as well, like sort of like loud type of music that's like sort of zen type, that's going to help us relax. We're also going to still pamper ourselves, but it's to be a very different way. But you know, home is going to be where the heart is, definitely, but it'll just be like more like different, and you know, a different way of doing things. And in the 5th house will be Gemini. So with the 5th house being in Gemini, this is like creativity, love, relationships, and you know, and you know, like children. So some of us, I'm feeling that, you know, we may be having, if we fancy someone, if we're single, we fancy someone. If we're not, so it doesn't matter. You know, you could fancy people, it doesn't, you know, it's a natural thing. But the people who fancy will be like, could be quite unconventional. They can have that sort of Gemini way. They can be very talkative. They can be, we can share lots of ideas with these people as well. In terms of like, you know, but they may not be the conventional type of beauty. I think the beauty standards will definitely change. We're not going to see like a certain type in magazines. It'll be more to do with like, this is like, it's not going to be like beauty, it's going to be like the brain, you know, beauty and brain. It's not going to be, you know, oh, the body and beautiful. It's going to be like the brain's beautiful. The brain's going to be more forward thinking. So we're going to be very much attracted. Some of us could be very much attracted to people that are like this. And also, even if it is like creativity as well, we're gonna have multiple types of creativity. So you could be, I don't know, a baker, and you're going to be doing counseling, and you're going to also be writing. Our brains are going to be expanded into other things that we're actually very good at, or actually things we actually wanted to do. So that's what we're going to be moving for. It's not going to be like one set. It's going to be, we're going to be doing this, and I'm also good at this. But we have to be very mindful. We're not going to burn ourselves out. We have to finish what we actually started. So it's all about timing. It's also about delegating. So if you're going to do this baking today, tomorrow you're going to do your creativity with drawing or writing. Then the next day is going to be, you know, counseling or singing, or it's going to be like that. And that's going to be a stream of multiple incomes that we're going to also have too. But you know, we have to be mindful of not burning ourselves out, not finishing what we started, doing things half-heartedly, you know, promising things that we can't complete as well. But it's a beautiful time for creativity, you know, such a beautiful time. Gemini rules the hand, so a lot of us could be doing lots of like painting and drawing and writing. And I'm also seeing like, in terms of creativity, it's going to be a different type of creative people we're going to be seeing. They're going to be like of different cultures, different races. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be like one type of race. It's going to be different, because Gemini is opposition of Sagittarius, and that is worldwide. It's different races. So we're going to see a lot of that going on, and it's going to be the new norm. Some people might struggle with that, but you know, that's the new world now. So, but people are not going to be, it's going to be like, it's not going to be a triple threat. It's going to be like quadruple threat. And in terms of like kids as well, your kids can also boost your creativity too. I'm also seeing a lot of babies being born, you know, and it's not going to be like the one or the two. It might be like 3 or 4 kids. It might be triplets, quadruplets. I know I'm sounding crazy, but this is what I'm thinking. People might decide, and some people still might be doing the IVF as well. And they might have like triplets, which people are having anyway now, but they might be a more like twins. I'm seeing like twins and triplets, and it depends. Infertility might be boosted now at this time, but we do have to really, connect with how we feel, and I think infertility is not a natural thing, obviously, but it is a thing of that things that just happen, but I think it may be because we're so ingrained in our creativity, because you create from the womb, and that'll make it a bit more easier to have babies as well. So I do see a lot of babies being born and people gaining a lot of creativity from their kids too. The 6th house is Cancer, and the 6th house is to do with like routines. It's also to do with health and fitness. So with it being in Cancer, we're going to be more, it's not going to be about the body beautiful like 20 years ago. It's going to be like being content with our body. It's going to also be, we're going to work how we feel. We're not going to push ourselves to work hard, like it was 20 years ago. It's going to be, I'm working with my energy. I don't feel to work now, so I'm going to rest. And also we're going to be checking in on ourselves a lot more, like spiritually, emotionally, and taking care of ourselves a lot more as well. On the other side, we can also overeat. We can also eat in our emotions, especially if we're feeling a bit down. So we have to, not saying look out for that, but just be aware of that, especially if we're going to try and be healthy, because we are going to be healthier, but it's going to be more of a grounded, more emotional health. We're going to check in how we feel. We're going to work out when we feel as well. We're not going to have this attaining of, looking skinny. We're going to work with our body shape now, so if you're naturally curvy, you're going to work with it. If you're naturally slim, you're going to work with it, and we're not going to be following fads. We're not going to be following this super skinny or clean eating. We're going to eat with how we feel to eat. We're also going to, we're going to cook nice meals. We're going to go back to basics when we're cooking. It's not going to be very strict. Some of people might say it's too fattening, but it's how we feel. Because Cancer is about feelings, but also if we are trying to be healthy, we have to be very mindful of like eating the emotions, eating when we're not hungry, type of thing. But we're going to check in more with our feelings, which is a beautiful thing. But I'm feeling this is going to be a beautiful time, because we're all going to work with our body, and we're not going to try and attain something that's unattainable. The 7th house is Sagittarius. So with it being in Sagittarius, the 7th house is Leo. So this is to do with, relationships. So we're going to be like very fired up being in partnerships that are very fun, but also we need a sense of freedom as well. It's not going to be, like 20 years ago, it was about the relationships were very intense. They were very passionate. It was very, it was just very intense and passionate. And there was a lot of controlling issues. But with it being in Leo, there may be some control, because Leo does rule. Leo is a controlling sign, but it's going to be more fun. We're going to have fun with this relationship. We're going to be, there's going to be some boundaries set as well. There's going to be more of a, an element of fun, an element of, creativity as well, an element of independence and some freedom as well. And even if that spirals into like joint partnerships as well, because 7th house is partnerships, we are going to be able to like communicate in a fun way, but also we're going to get a lot of work done as well. We're going to be very serious in our reaching our goals. We're going to be also we can be very quite strict as well in how we're pursuing our goals, but the main aim is also to have fun and freedom, but also 7th house is also to do with open enemy. So people that we're not feeling, we're going to actually say. We're not going to be like quiet and watching them. We're going to actually say, I know what you're doing, I know what's going on, so we're able to distinguish that type of people, you know. But it is a nice time to, like, you know, get creative with a partnership or with your partner as well. There's going to be a lot more communication with our partners as well, and in our workspace as well. It's going to be a case of, you know, if there's any problems, we're going to communicate. We're not going to hide. We're going to, you know, be open as we can. We want to sort problems out. We don't want it to fester, you know, because the 7th house being a fire sign, it's going to be very fiery as well. So we're going to sort these problems out now. We're going to get it out of the way, and we're also, you know, going to try and move forward as much as we can. The other downside could be, you know, there could be a lot of why don't you care about me, and what about my feelings, what about what I want, you know. The ego can get in the way a bit, but that's only to do with, like, insecurity. But if you guys can meet each other halfway and maintain some type of balance, this could be beautiful. But it's on a worldly level, guys. You know, this is to do with work and relationships. Virgo being in the 8th house, so this is like, you know, taxes, debts, and you know, deep intimacy. So a lot of us, you know, on a worldly scale for the next, you know, decade and centuries to come, should I say, is going to be working hard to pay off our debts, and if we have any, and taxes. We're going to be very detail orientated. There's going to be no stone unturned. If we, you know, it also rules joint finances. So if we are in, like, joint finances as well, we're going to make sure that things don't go overboard. We're going to make sure we're on top of things, and we could also be extremely critical in not just, like, our finances, in even our deep intimacy, in intimate partnership as well. So you have to be very mindful of that, because that's also to do with insecurity. And, you know, there can be times that there can be a lot of brooding going on because we can't really emote how we feel. We just want to communicate. It could be very hard, actually, because 8th house is intimacy, to actually communicate what we actually feel on a deeper intimacy level. So we're going to have to find ways in how to communicate, and that is in the 8th house being in a Mercury sign. Yeah, it's about communicating with people that we trust. So that is to do, I'm seeing there's a lot more of communication. People are doing therapy anyway, but therapy is going to be huger now, because people are going to find they can't really emote with their partner on that level, and if they want to save a relationship, they've got to change course. So there's, you know, like, therapy is going to be very in demand even more now, and there'll be a lot of online therapy, you know, because there's going to be a lot of deep unsettling things that a lot of us can't really communicate and let out. So it's going to be communicating with someone that we trust. So there'll be a lot of that going on. But it's also to do with, like, we're going to making sure, like, in terms of finances as well, that it's, like, you know, we're not overspending, and we're keeping on top of things. We're very diligent. We're very, you know, we're keeping on top of what's going on in the books. So finance wise could be very tight now. Not tight as in no money, but I'm talking tight as in more, and it's going to be flexible. It's going to be more diligent. There's not going to be no stone unturned. We're all going to look at things, especially when we're doing with contracts as well. That's going to be a big thing as well. When a lot of us could also find, especially going to the 7th house of Leo, a lot of us can find that when it's in terms of contracts, we're going to be more asking for what we want as well. And, you know, some of us can work for ourselves, and we're going to also get what we want in a contract, like more freedom in a contract. And we're going for the 8th house, you know, we're going to be looking over things diligently in a contract. Some of us could also be our own lawyer, solicitor, you know, because we're understanding what these things mean, and we want to get the best deal in things. So it's going to be very intense. No one can, like, cross you during this time. And with Libra in the 9th house, this is to do with, like, our belief systems, higher learning, traveling long distance, mentorship, you know. So with Libra in the 9th house, our thoughts and especially our beliefs will be a bit more open. We're not going to be doing the conventional type of belief. Our beliefs are going to be very different. We're going to be searching for the truth in a different way, because Libra is a judge and jury. So we're going to be seeking the truth. And if that means traveling far distance or speaking to people from different countries and cultures, which is beautiful. Also with in the ninth house is we're going to be probably working in a group and partnerships with people to gain the truth, also to gain, like, to learn from each other too. And the learning will be very different, very like forward thinking as well. There's gonna be loads of communication in what someone's learned, what they can teach me as well. And you know, I'm seeing a lot of us learning more languages now, and like the language of beauty. So that's like Italian, that's French. So don't be surprised if a lot of us learn more. Some people know more than one language anyway, but a lot of us could have by the time this conjunction, like 200 conjunction year, a lot of us might not be alive then, but you know, before we go, a lot of us might be speaking like 2 or 3 languages now, because we know in order for us to learn and get ahead, we need to speak another language. We need to be around other cultures as well. So this is a beautiful thing, you know, and it's gonna, some of us might feel frustrated, oh, I don't know, but it will be a beautiful thing. It's gonna be more likely to stick, because we're gonna know this is gonna benefit us in the long run, and we're gonna be around different people who speak different languages as well. So even if your kids, they may want to start learning languages now if they didn't want to learn languages in the beginning, and you yourself could be very open-minded to just learn, you know, and you know, even how we communicate with people from different cultures can be more refined, and it's not going to be about seeing the beauty in them. Is going to be more to do with what they can teach us, what we can learn from them, what they can learn from us too. And with Scorpio being in the 10th house, you know, in terms of like the 10th house is like fame, bosses. So some of us could actually work for ourselves now. We can find that, you know, working in isolated spaces is much better for us. We can get a lot more done. But it's not to say we're not going to communicate with people. We are, but we want to communicate with people that are, you know, aligned with what we feel. And we want people that are very loyal as well. And, you know, even the loyalty, we're going to probably have like more loyalty to ourselves, you know, because there might be an issue of trust going on as well. So even if we're around a lot of people, we may not find that a lot of people are not carrying things through, you know. And even in terms of how we shine with Scorpio being in the 10th house, we're going to shine in a different way. We may shine in a group, we may shine like slow burn, we may shine from behind the scenes as well. There'll be a lot done as well, but the things that will be done will be on a slow scale. I'm also seeing like a lot of Scorpions being at the forefront of things too. Yeah. You know, so a lot of us may be very intense as well at how we pursue our career and how we pursue our goals, especially if it's terms of like, you know, how we want to like especially wanting that pay rise, or you know, even working for yourself. We're going to be very strong-willed, very stubborn as well, very hardworking, you know, very intense, very passionate. And if we are in a group, the same applies as well. But you know, we have to be very mindful that we don't get stuck in you know, reaching the goal in a very ruthless way, because that can also happen too. We can, you know, find we're stepping on people's toes and you know, not giving people credit, you know, because we want to shine. So we have to be very mindful of that, you know. So it's a good thing that it's a good thing because we're very serious in how we pursue our goals, you know. And the goals and the jobs could also be, even if it's creative as well, or it's like in the business sense, we're going to be very serious, and we're also going to stick to our goals too. That's the main thing. We're going to stick to our goals. We're not going to like be swayed, you know, especially if we see the end game, you know, and we're going to shine in a positive way. But we have to be very mindful of not being ruthless or manipulative, and you know, all the dark Scorpion traits that can happen. With the 11th house is in Sagittarius, so this is like groups and friends, and this is perfect because Sagittarius and Aquarius get on very well, you know. So you know, a lot of us can be fired up now to pursue like friendships and organizations in a very quick way. You know, we're going to be wanting to learn things very fast. We're also going to want to be, you know, especially if anything that's going to teach us to get to a high level, and be very fast. And also with it being in Sagittarius, you know, there's going to be a lot of You know, the communication is going to be a given anyway, but there's going to be there could be lots of chops and changes in how, you know, we are in groups and our organizations. So we can be in this group, that group, that group, that group. But we have to be mindful that we're not going to be spreading ourselves too thin in groups and forget what we're actually going to do in the group. Yeah, because that can happen, you know. That can, you know, you're meant to be meeting people here, then you end up going to this group here and that group there. But essentially, we're going to be learning so much when we are in group. And also, some of us also could be working by ourselves a lot as well. Because we know that sometimes when we're around too much people, we just need to get a sense of clarity. So that means working by yourself to get a lot more done too. That's going to happen. And, you know, some people might get offended by it because they think, you don't like me. You do like, but just sometimes it's best to like have that breathing time, because Sagittarius also rules spirituality. So a lot of us could also, you know, find when we are by ourselves, we can just like be calm. We can, you know, get things done as well, but also just have that sense of like grounded spirituality in our own way. But it's going to be a fiery time, you know, because also we can meet a lot of people that are very, you know, who can make friends very quickly when Sagittarius is in the 11th house as well, on a worldly scale. And even if we're going back to Gemini, with Sagittarius being the 5th, you know, when it comes to emoting feelings, it's not going to be very easy, you know. It's going to be very fleeting. It's going to be very quick. So, you know, if you know that you want to be, so it's a good thing to be around people like this. You know, a lot of us are going to be around different groups of people. Yeah. Some you can trust, some you can't trust. But, you know, if you're an emotional type, try and be around people that you can connect with emotionally. And if you want fun, connect with people you want to have fun with. And if you want like acquaintances, try and find a group like that, because it's very unlikely you're going to find it in that one group. So that's why it's a good thing to have multiple groups. It's not a thing of going out there trying to find it. It will happen gradually, you know, but you just have to know which group can serve you in what way. Yeah, instead of forcing something on someone, should I say. And last but not least, we have Capricorn in the 12th house. So, you know, the 12th house is a karmatic house. So it's about, you know, we're going to be, you know, a lot of us going to be, some of us can, a lot on the worldly scale, there may be a lot of work being done behind the scenes. Lots of planning, lots of, there could be a lot of, and some of the friendships as well that we can have could be very secret groups as well. But there'll be a lot of things that we actually want to do, but we're going to be planning it behind the scenes and working very hard behind the scenes as well. Also, I'm seeing with the 12th house in Capricorn is, you know, any issues that we have, we may not be able to emote it properly to a broad range of people. So some of us may keep it to ourselves. And, you know, working through things by ourselves as well. And there's that hidden side that, you know, because I can't say what I actually feel, this is what I have to do. So some of us, you know, deep down might feel actually alone in how we can actually, you know, emote ourselves. And, you know, but this is also a time, you know, if we're going back to your 8th house, that we can, you know, we're going to have to find ways, because if you do things by yourself a lot too much, especially when it comes to like emotional, you know, it can hinder you. It can cause like breakdowns and depression, and, you know, so I can see that there can be some depression going on, because we can't, some of, you know, because it's an air cycle. So because we're going to be showing this a lots of communication and talking and not too much emotion, when we go home, for instance, which is the 12th house, we're going to find that we're actually very alone, and there's things I actually wanted to say and I actually couldn't say it, you know. And some of us could find that, you know, when we're around the group too much, that we, you know, there's too much going on and I just want to be alone. And when we are alone, there's a lot of things that can actually come up that we don't want to actually deal with. And on a deep psychological level, we're going to have to deal with it. you know. So one good thing is getting work done behind the scenes, you know, so you can present it to like your group and friends. But on the other hand, you know, because it's good being like creative or hardworking when you're like alone, but on the other hand is like finding it hard to emote because it's very hard, and the people we're around with, they're just not like that. So that's going to the 11th house, knowing which groups and associations that you can be with, knowing who to associate yourself with, knowing who you can actually talk to, you know. But also with the 12th house, there's going to be a lot, we can also, with us getting a lot more things done by ourselves as well as in a group, you know, it will give us time to like relax as well, you know, to think about, you know, our day, think about how, you know, we can push forward in the future as well. And, you know, even though, you know, it's not about being cold when we're alone, it's just about being more realistic when we're alone, which is a good thing. So we just don't run away with the theories. So I think that's a good thing as well. We just have to be mindful that we're just like holding things in and not be able to emote it. So that is what I believe that could happen on an astrological level and a spiritual intuition level. And, you know, guys, you know, because of, you know, remember it's a winter solstice as well, yeah, with this conjunction. So, you know, it's a new astrological phase, so it's time to like really set really good intentions. I forgot even to say it, but it's time to set really good intentions today, not on the New Year's Eve, it's today, you know, because it's, remember, this is like a new reset, 250 year, 800 year, so it would last, whether it's 20 years, 30 years, it will last a long time. Yeah, so it's best, you know, best to set it today, and, you know, it will impact us for, like I said, a very long time. And, you know, we'll find, because I've never done it before, I really started doing it now, you know, because I've actually felt this shift today, you know, and I believe that, you know, I believe that it will last now, because it's a zero, this is a 0 degrees conjunction, and that's new beginnings, initiating new things. And even though, you know, Aquarius is also Saturn too, you know, it will be long lasting, but it's going to be a slow burn, and sometimes slow is better than fast. Other things I want to talk about before I go is like essential oils that we can actually use. For essential oils, you know, Aquarius health, exercise. So, you know, with Aquarius, like the health, like the body parts for Aquarius is like the ankles, the calves, the arteries, especially in the legs. And, you know, also with, especially with Saturn being in Aquarius, it's, you know, it rules the nerve. That's why I said, you know, we have to be very careful of our mental health at this time, because a lot's going to be going on, especially with the 5th house being in you know, Gemini. We're going to be doing so much creativity, so we're going to have to take care of our like nervous system, get enough sleep, you know, because if we don't, it can cause insomnia. Also, like, there can be a lot of nerves going on, so we're going to definitely have to have like a good diet, you know, keep fit, you know, especially if we're working too much as well. We can also overwork the brain, and there could be like, you know, I don't want to go too crazy, but these things can happen. There could be like, if we don't take care of our, you know, especially like the, also Aquarius also rules like the circulation of the blood as well. So these things we have to think about. So, you know, if we don't, these things can cause like mental breakdowns or like mental exhaustion as well. And, you know, exercise can be very important. So things like stretching, aerobics, just for circulation. And, you know, it's just a good time to like evaluate on how you're treating your body. You know, you guys can even look this up, what is good for Aquarius, but because it rules like circulation and the ankles, things like strengthening that and doing lots of stretching, because Saturn also rules like the bones and the teeth and the, you know, the skeletal system as well. So we have to be very mindful of that as well. But, you know, good exercises, even like aerobics as well, you know, walking, if you can run as well, because when we're overworked, which a lot of us will be, especially when we're working for ourselves, we can also, you know, there's going to be a lot of nervous pent up energy. So we're going to have to get the energy out somehow. Yeah. And the last thing I'll say for like essential oils for Aquarius, you know, obviously look at your, you know, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I use essential oils anyway. you know. But you know, essential oils that we can that can help us during this 250 year cycle is rose oil. Now rose oil, it decreases anxiety, it's antibacterial, which is like if you've got like a cut and you need to, you know, it's antibacterial, so you won't get like, it won't get infected. And stress levels, and it eases pain, and it eases pain in like the joints. Lemon, it relieves pain. It makes you feel energized, especially if you're working. Good to like, you know, diffuse lemon oil. It's also good to improve like colds. So if you're having like a cold or anything, or coming down, very good to do that. Coriander helps with concentration, fatigue. It flushes out toxins and also helps with aches and pains. Black pepper is arthritis, spasms and cramps, because even when I was looking up like Vedic astrology, what also Aquarius rules, it is to do with like arthritis. And you know, arthritis is mostly to do with like inflammation in the body, so that's why we have to be very, you know, we have to really watch what we're eating as well. Obviously, you know, eat how you feel, remember, Cancer's in the 6th, but also just be mindful of what we're putting in our body as well, so we don't cause inflammation. And peppermint is very good. It relieves pain, muscle spasms, and it opens your airwaves for like breath work. And rosemary oil, I love rosemary. It improves brain function, it eases stress, and also joint inflammation. So these are essential oils that you can use. Obviously, you know, if you have to like speak to a health practitioner, or you know, if you are in essential oils and you just want to know this is like good information, I'm definitely going to take it on board as well, especially if I'm doing a lot of work. And you know, it's just about being mindful, you know, especially if we are sitting down a lot. Just lots of stretches as well. Sometimes I forget to stretch as well, guys, so I'm taking my own, you know, I'm taking this as well for myself too. So yeah, so this was the third and finale of the Jupiter Saturn conjunction, guys. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you found it, you know, the information you found was good for you, you know. Feel free to come back to it just to like refresh what can happen. And you know, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And thank you very much for listening, guys, and I'll speak to you guys very soon. Take care. Bye.